connection with immigration law. So I'm happy to be here. Hope I can answer any questions, dispel any concerns. I work with my mom and my dad in Dallas. We own our own law firm, and we've been doing it um, for over 30 years. My dad's been kind of an influential player in the
Right.
immigration landscape here in Dallas. And then my brothers and I are also lawyers. Well, me and my little brother are lawyers. My baby brother's in law school. So we have a very legal family.
And we've
And then
been
we also like treat our clients like family. We really care
Mhm.
about all of our case. We care about each individual client we have. We know them by name. We know their family members. We stay plugged in with them throughout the duration of the immigration journey. We bring them from their foreign countries. We help them work and get settled here in America. If they have issues with, prior applications or mistakes that they may have made before they came to us, we kind of help them navigate that part too. And of course, we help people with removal proceedings, if they're facing ICE, facing deportation, facing being out of status, trying to figure out, navigate the immigration landscape. It's so aggressive. So, um, and then we also do that in combination with like family law concerns, like let's say a divorce needs to happen, or children need to be sorted out, or properties need to be sold, or companies need to be sold. So we kind of help the lay people find their footing in America for
Footing in
life.
America for life.
Okay, nice to be here. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you guys for being. Thank you so much. I think somebody else is, mute your microphone. Uh, I think we are ready to go. Um, can you confirm that, Sylvester? Can we go? Can we start?
Yes, sir. We're good to go. And thank you, Lola. That is quite a deep legacy of legal practice that you people are building. And, legacy building is something that is often very underestimated, but it's also very important when building one generation's success into another. So I think, wow, I hope one day I get to meet your parents and just see what thought went into them in thinking of building a legacy like that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really good. So we are going to start our conversation with thank you everyone for coming and joining. And this is going to be a discussion mostly on the flyer I sent out, but it's going to be mostly about the law when it comes to immigration and what we are expecting to see. Okay. So first of all, this is a great time to be an immigration lawyer. Trump is going to make a lot of them millionaires because everybody is going to have to abide by the law and have a lawyer stand by all the time. So in as much as we are having this discussion, these lawyers here get paid. They're not going to solve your case for free. You get an information and you use it to the best of your ability to proceed. Part of why we're having this conversation is to make sure no one is careless, make a mistake, take anything for granted, or just bypass any laws just because they think, they had a lucky day. You have to do things the right way so that you will be confident staying in where you are. I'm not accusing anyone of doing anything illegal or saying anyone is not here rightfully. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying if for some reason you have any issues you are not sure of, go and get clarification. Part of our work here today is to see if we could get that or give you as much information as possible. Then we'll go from there. Just before we start, Sylvester, you and I know. Are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
So you and I know for a fact, 100%, Trump is rightfully where he's supposed to be. We voted him in. We actually voted him more than ever before. So this question of everyone being emotionally distressed and angry, he said everything he was going to do. He's doing them. Some of them probably wouldn't pass just because the court system will come in. So this is not a conversation to bash Trump or make him look bad or anything. It doesn't matter what you say. There's nothing you can do about it. The best thing you could do is to move forward. That's what we are going to do. We are moving forward. With that being said, I would try to talk to Mr. Karim. Mr. Karim is our other lawyer who, for those who just joined. Mr. Karim, there is a lot going on where a certain group of people feel targeted. They quote unquote say brown people. Some people say it's just black people. Some people say it's just Mexicans. I think that some people here need to get, I know what it is, but I think hearing it from you probably would make a more sensible, technical difference. So if you were to define the word racism, does it apply to this case? Is it what this is all about? Is this the law? Is this part of the process other countries go through? How will you define racism in this context? Just for some of the people who are joining and who are not sure. We'll start with that, then we'll grow into our discussion.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. If you're just joining, my name is Adisa Karim, and I am the principal partner in Adisa Karim Law Firm. We are in Keller, Texas. I mean, most people will call it Fort Worth. All right, it's my pleasure today to be here, and I want to thank the coordinator, Mr. Emeka, for having me. And I'll just go straight to the question now. So, yeah, I mean, really, let me start with a little background here. All right. I mean, I licensed in Nigeria, lived in the UK, studied there, licensed in New York, and licensed in Texas. And based on my experience practicing law and interaction with people, I can tell you usually when it comes to the brown and black, right? We are usually at the bottom of the ladder, if you know what I mean. So there's what they call, just implicit bias. Like we didn't do anything wrong, but that's just the way it is. And it's unfortunate that it's something we need to admit. Having said that, the US Constitution, Chapter 13, actually outrightly prohibit discrimination and judging people based on their skin color and all that. It's not allowed, but the question now remains, do people still get discriminated upon based on how they look? And you and I know without actually saying the obvious. So, well, can everyone hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can. Yes.
Okay.
We can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay, that's great. So, the implicit bias, usually it's always going to be because when people look at us, and why I brought back in the UK with my experience as well, Mr. Emeka asked me even around the world. I know back then when I was living there, studying there and all that, the cops will come around and they don't even see that as anything. They'll come around. You might be at this train station waiting for your train or trying to get in on a bus. And the first thing they ask you is they want to see your ID if you're legally in the country. And from what's going on now in this dispensation, I think that's the same thing going on. And I always tell my clients, like, the first thing you want to do, like Mr. Maker said, you need to ask for expert opinion because I wouldn't lie to you. I've seen clients that just relied on what their friends told them or what their friends have done, and they go do the same thing. But doing the same thing, does it guarantee the same results without consulting with an expert? And most of them have found themselves in troubled waters. So that's what we need to guide against. If you have sign condition that you're not sure of, especially let's say the your status in the United States at this very time, you have to be very careful. Like, I mean, I had a client yesterday telling me he's already out of status, but he's been driving with international license and he had never had problem. When I told him, well, at this time, anything could actually be the course of you getting detained, and if that happened, one thing is just going to lead to the other. So, yeah, to make long story short, we just have to be very, very careful and mindful of what we do right now. But in some, like if I won't rule it out completely, even though it shouldn't be done. But usually, I mean, there's just the assumption that once you colored, you're probably not from here. So that's my take on that, and I hope anyone that has further question or want to know more should let us know. Thank you, Mr. Mika, and everyone else.
Thank you. Lola, did you want to say anything, or can we jump into questions?
I would just want to give people like two tools. So obviously I'm kind of very American, but I am exposed in that I traveled all over the world. My opinion of this matter of racism motivating the actions of the current status, I don't actually think it's racism, Emeka. I think it's
The market.
Yeah, I think somebody's speaking. So sorry.
okay, no problem.
Go
I didn't know.
ahead.
I don't think it's actually racism. I think it's like maybe racistly enforced because race is like the easiest thing that you can use to see someone and to ask questions and things like that. But what I mean in terms of protection is that number one, kind of like Attorney Kareem said, it's the main situation here is that some people have a home. Like if you look at these things objectively, you'll see it kind of like take yourself out of it and look at it from the perspective of the Americans that are trying to protect their space and their land. They have their home and they've fought for their home and they've done a lot of things to make their home the kind of place that's attractive to people globally. Now, when you're getting an influx of people into your home that seem to be destabilizing the power and destabilizing the economy and making the people at home even uncomfortable, it's like if you were to get a guest into your house, you may, and that stayed too long, you may be uncomfortable with that guest and you may be like, okay, coming and leaving is one thing, but coming and staying 6 months, like all of our guests like to do, that is not something that they're willing to tolerate. And in order to prevent that, you almost want to, and what I always do with my clients is you almost want to start with seeing things from their perspective. Like I have gotten out of so many tickets, so many issues, so many counterintuitive places from number one, moving with an air of confidence, and number two, knowing my rights because I'm informed. Being informed and having confidence will almost help you skip that racism question. Because initially racism brings them to you, but if you stand out, if you're the kind of person that when the police officer walks up to you, you say, "Hey officer, thank you for doing your job. Thanks for your service. Thanks for keeping us safe. I don't really know what the problem is, but what's going on?" If you meet somebody at eye level, even if they were racist initially, they'll take a step back and they'll engage with you as a human. But if you let fear control your mannerisms due to your lack of being informed, everything is going to be seeming like racism. Everything is going to be seeming like they already don't like me. Everything is going to be seeming like I can't do anything. And that's not the truth. You're more powerful than you realize. It just requires being informed and, like you said, doing things the right way.
Right. Thank you for that. So we want to have the door open for questions. If you have questions, please, it would be nice for you to raise your hand up and ask your question. Just before that, Sylvester, do you want to say anything, or can we let them start asking questions? Please raise your hand up if you have any questions.
No, at the moment, not much to say. What I really like from the point of view of the attorneys is that what we should learn is that don't just do something because somebody else did it or told you they did it and it worked. Because there's also the how they did it. We also have our own personal aura, right? what works for me will not work for Emeka. What works for Emeka will not work for me, because there's a certain energy somebody carries within themselves. So it doesn't mean if you do something, Emeka, jump on it and do it. Let us just walk the thin line. Make sure you know what you're doing. Know your rights, yes, know what you're doing, and consult a professional. Usually professionals in every field see things that you cannot see, or you might see them and dismiss them as very small or very meaningless, while the true breakthrough or the true meaning of what is being done lies in the things you are dismissing. Yeah, right. And attorneys will tell you even articles change the judgment of a case. An attorney just using the article there or a changes. But if I'm the one writing it, I might just use whatever article comes to my head, So just talk to a professional. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. Thank you for that. All right, who has a question? All right, so I have been asked some questions. Someone wants to know if they came in here in the name of the asylum deal, and they came in as, the same sex, right? Meaning they came in as gay, right, or lesbian, or LGBTQ, or sorry, I don't know how to say it right now. Because of the new rule, because of the way the Trump administration is saying they don't want to be interested in any other sex but male or female. So if you come in here embracing another type of culture, in terms of something brand new, in terms of called the woke mentality, right? What should they do? Because they came in as an LGBTQ person, right? And now it looks like that thing is dying off. What do we do? Lola, do you want to jump on it first? What do you
Yeah. Let me hop in on this one, since we do practice a lot of asylum applications with a lot of gay, I'm gonna call them gay, with a lot of gay people. So basically, what I'm gonna keep my answer short. At the end of the day, it takes a long time to change the law in this country. So you're still safe, right? You're still safe in the sense that if you came in as a gay person and you like your same sex, or you like everybody, it's either you like your people or you like everybody. So if that's the case, then just speak your truth. And with asylum, that you have to remember the rules of asylum, no matter what you're running from, or what led you out of your country. It's you're fleeing persecution from your origin country, because you have a well-founded fear of persecution in your origin country. Now, even though America is being a little bit more upset with gay people, your country of origin, like let's say you're Nigerian, they're still criminalizing people for 7 years. They're still beating them and tying them with tires and lighting them on fire. So whatever motivated you to leave your country is your story. Now, just being gay and coming to America doesn't guarantee you that they're going to let you be a citizen, right? Like, so the answer always ends with speak to an attorney. But just so you know, until you speak to an attorney, Trump deciding that he wants to say men are men and women are women does not mean that you no longer have rights as a gay person fleeing persecution from your home country. You still have your rights. It just means that, hey, instead of maybe waiting 4 years or the 2 years or the whole year that you have to apply for that asylum application, let's go ahead and be more proactive and get that asylum application in the queue. Let's go ahead and, before Trump completely changes the entire government, go ahead and get your application looked at by somebody who may be sympathetic to your cause. Because one thing I will let you know is, if your asylum application goes affirmatively, like you submit your application affirmatively into the government and they're looking at it, you have 8 out of 10 chance of being successful. Like they'll grant it to you. They know what your origin, like they know Nigeria is wicked to gay people, so they'll likely grant it. 80% chance that they'll grant it if you submit it affirmatively. Now, if ICE gets you, right? Like, let's say you're in muddy waters, you don't have you're not in status, or your status is just hanging on by a thread, or you're here on a visa application and it's about to expire, you're about to lose your illegal ability to be in the country, and now you're facing ICE and deportation. You're like, wait, don't send me back to Nigeria, I'm gay. Wait, don't send me back to Nigeria, I like men, I like women, I'm gay, whatever. At that stage, because they already caught you, or because you waited so late in the game, it does drastically reduce your chances of survival, right? Because instead of it being reviewed by the asylum office, now your application is going to be reviewed by an immigration judge that has aggressive eyes on you. And let me just go ahead and let y'all know right now, when you get into the hands of the immigration judges, I personally have never seen an immigration judge in this country that has a deportation percentage, like percentage of the amount of times that they deport people, be less than 95%. Their deportation percentages are 95, 97, 99. They're deporting people purely based on ignorance. So go ahead, if you're gay, or if you have people that can support the fact that you're gay, let that be the reason that you go to an immigration attorney and run to us and let us help you get situated, because your chances of survival go from 80% chance of success to
Yeah.
95% chance of deportation.
All right, thanks. Karim, so that means Attorney Karim, does that
Yes,
mean
I'm here.
it doesn't, people who came in for that shouldn't try to change the asylum seeking request, meaning go from you came in for as a gay person, now they're trying to change to, something else,
Political,
so that
like
they
let's say
don't.
you're for political reasons or something like that. No,
Yeah.
stay with what your reason is. Stay with your reason.
Say, okay. Karim, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Attorney Kerry actually said it all, because
Right, okay.
that's the way it should be. Laws can be changed overnight. It was just what's it called, the executive power that was using to try get
Executive
things
order.
changed,
Yeah.
order that was using to try get things changed overnight. They
Yeah.
still going to get challenged. And if I may just quickly throw this, because she said it all. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Throw this in. The birthright is going to be the same thing for the birthright, right? Is they're going to be challenged.
Can you give people, because I had somebody ask me that, can you define that a little bit more? Here's the reason why. Because
Mm,
some people some people are being misinformed. They're saying it's only illegal immigrants who,
mhm,
it might be true or it might be wrong, illegal immigrants who just came into the country or who are in this country, right? Let's say
mhm,
somebody came to have a baby. They came in here
mm,
legally, right? The birthright citizenship means that is supposedly supposed to apply for any human being born in the United States, right? So I want to ask, on what condition, if you could broaden that, right, does it start affecting people? People who came in here to have a baby, as
mm.
people have been doing, are they affected? Who is affected? What is the definition? Don't go to
The
what
clear
do you know?
definition, the clear definition right now is children of illegals, children of illegals. Your mom and your dad never had any legal status in the US. A lot of Nigerians are not going to qualify. We come over here with visas and we overstay. But this is people who walked across the border. Both their mom and their dad never had any paperwork. Both their mom and their dad never had any valid American status, and then they
Interesting.
gave birth to a child and their kid gets citizenship. What Trump was trying to do was say, if that's the case, then let's get rid of birthright citizenship so we can deport the whole family together. The whole idea is he doesn't want to separate families. He doesn't want to be seen as the president that that kicked out a whole bunch of Americans' parents, right? Because the kids are Americans by birth. They have
Yes.
citizenship by birthright. However, their parents are not citizens, and their parents have to. And then that child can't file for their parents to be citizens until they turn 21. So what's going on with Trump is like, he's like, bro, don't even try it. You and your kid. If both of your parents are illegal, then the kid is also illegal. It is just a
Okay.
big mess.
Yeah. Okay. So does that mean that there's a timeline, meaning anyone below 18 qualifies to be deported with their parents if they haven't been able to file for their parents? Or where does it start? Is there a number where it starts?
Kareem, do you want to answer this, or
Yeah, Kareem, go ahead.
I'm not. I think.
you
I
think
think you should just continue with the thread because
yeah? Let
yeah,
me
I just got lost a
let
little
me
bit.
hop on it. It's just I've been dealing with this all week. That's why it's
I, yeah, I just got lost a little bit. I got sidetracked.
no
Yeah, no
worries.
problem. No problem. Go ahead.
So basically, what's going on is this, right? Let me make the law really clear. If you are born in America, you are an American citizen, period. If you were born in America, if you are born in America, if they gave birth to you as a child, if you're a baby and you came out of your mother's womb in this country, you're an American,
Okay. How about
right?
those
You're
who
an
flew
American.
in?
Sorry?
How about those who flew in or who are here, who have overstayed that time but want to have a baby here?
Yes,
Okay.
their child is American. That child drops out of the womb in America, that child is American.
Okay.
Now, the child being American does not automatically extend that American citizenship to the parents,
Okay.
right? Like a Nigerian parent, a Nigerian woman that is pregnant with a child and comes to America on a visiting visa and gives birth to that child in America, that woman is still a Nigerian citizen. The child is American, but the mom is a Nigerian citizen.
Can they file
Until that
it?
child,
Okay.
yes, until that child can file for their mom at the age of 21.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
When the
Let me
child,
jump in. Let me jump in now if you guys don't mind. All right. Emeka, hello.
you could talk to me,
Yes, go
Kareem.
ahead.
I can
Yes,
hear
Okay,
you.
yes,
all right. So,
go
okay, yeah,
ahead.
you just all right. So, the thing is, if you just want to see the basis is this section 14 of the Constitution, okay, the United States Constitution, and the Constitution actually controls and governs all our affairs in the United States of America, okay. So, whatever anybody does, Trump or whoever, okay, there's always going to be that ground norm, which the Constitution is that will always govern. Section 14 actually allows anyone, anywhere that comes into the United States of America and is giving birth to here, okay, forget everything else going on right now. That section is still there. And unless it's kind of changed or wherever they want to repeal or wherever they want to do it, that's still the law. Okay. So anyone that get born here in the United States on the soil is actually an American citizen, and it hasn't changed.
Well, I mean that it hasn't changed, right? Because
No.
uh I told you, Lola, you were saying something about it's going to take a while for that to happen. So let's just
So,
say
yeah,
it
it's to
might
change an amendment. Yeah, to change an amendment
how long
of the
does that take?
Constitution. So it's not a time thing, it's a desire thing, right? It's one of the really so the Constitution is like a really beautiful sovereign document. When it was first created in 1776, it was the Constitution, it's 7 articles, and then they also had 10 amendments, which is the Bill of Rights. And
Yes.
then since that time, they've added 17 more amendments, which is now we have 27 full amendments to the Constitution. In order to get an amendment added or modified, the people, the American people, are the ones that have to kind of make that push. And they make the push from their ground level. It's a grassroots effort. They make the push, they circulate it, and then it gets on memorandums, it gets on bills, and then everybody goes. All the people in the country go and they vote, and then it can be changed. So we're nowhere near a place where the majority of Americans want to end birthright citizenship. It doesn't make any sense. But I will give you an example of what the things that they have changed. They used amendments to change alcohol, the age of alcohol. During the wars they were having in the last couple of years, or like in the last century, they changed it to 18 and then they brought it back to 21. Everybody in the country likes to drink. Everybody in the country was pushing that. You see, birthright is a whole different situation. Nobody cares. Like the Americans don't really care. They just want money in their pockets. So it's just a little lever that Trump is bringing up in order to try to use that as another rule and as another mechanism to attack specifically Mexicans, because they're the people who are coming across with no with both parents being illegal, and then they can just have that baby. Everybody else is using some kind of government permission to enter the country.
Right, right. We have a
True.
question from Chimbusoma. Thank you for that so much. Thank you. Chimbusoma, go ahead.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So my question is, I have two questions. One is for people who, like, let's say they're DACA recipients. And then my other question, so I'll go with the DACA one. Um, so I know some people that have DACA because they overstayed their visa and, they have DACA currently. With this whole thing with Trump, do you think that they'll be able to renew their DACA and they will not be hunted or their family will not be hunted? Um,
I'm still processing DACA renewals and they're still accepting them, and I haven't had any issues with that. I did one this week. However, their families are definitely going to be affected because deferred action childhood arrivals means that those are exactly the group of people that Trump is kind of targeting, except for those people weren't born in America, so they're not American citizens. They were just kids when they were brought to America. So their
Right.
parents is who Trump is targeting. So yeah, they're going to be affected long run, but right now, yeah, they're still allowing DACA recipients to process their renewals.
Okay, my other question is about taxes. So with the proposed tax plan for Trump, it's going to really affect people who are not making over 360,000 a year, which is really unfair to charge people who are not making enough money, barely making enough money to live, more taxes and thinking that trickle down it's going to work. And then also taxing corporations more. I don't know which way to like navigate that because it seems like, I'm neither, so I'll put that out here. I'm neither a Republican or a Democrat, but I do want the best for people in the interest of their livelihood, right? People need to be able to eat and live a good life. And so a good quality of life. And so having more taxes on the people who are in the toughest situations is not good. So how do we navigate that? Some people in that percentage cannot go, especially people with fixed incomes, they cannot go and work more. They've given their contributions to the United States. What would you say in the best interest of those people? Because obviously no one wants to be taxed more. People who make a little more, they should be taxed a little more. They also know how to go through those to not pay as much.
Yeah, I'll give that question to Mr. Karim because he does some tax stuff too. So I think if we understand your question is, I think the less fortunate people are going to be paying higher taxes than the rich. But I'll let Mr. Karim talk to us about it.
Yeah. Okay. I know it's unfortunate. I mean, if you find yourself in the class of those that are not earning as high as those that are classified as the rich, but Trump administration is not new to us. That's one thing I would like you to bear in mind. It's his second term in office, so we already know, how he's going to play out. Because the first term, the first 4 years, it was similar. Because I know you're not affiliated to any of the political party, but what you just said is more Democrat than Republican. So usually it's always going to be like that, and there's nothing we can do. But guess what? Whoever the employers as against the employees are kind of happy because we're gonna have tax break.
Vacuum the bathroom,
Hello.
before you even.
Let me fix that.
Okay, so it's more employers friendly,
Good,
and
good, good.
so as against employee friendly, but it's something we got to deal with. But I don't see any way anyone can change that, and it's just the regime we are right now. So
Yeah.
hopefully, we work something out.
Okay. And then I have another question. I guess I have a third question. My third question is H-1B visa.
Okay.
With Trump, the supposed thought process among my friends, right? That with Trump now, we're gonna have more jobs, right? If you see on LinkedIn, I'm always on LinkedIn, so you see people are bleeding dry because especially in technology and in corporate America, there's no jobs, right? There's no one is getting jobs. They're talking about unemployment. But then Trump is saying, yeah, okay, yeah, we're helping employers, and now we're gonna have more jobs. However, he's also saying, hey, H-1B visas, you guys, you can still continue to have H-1B visas, hiring people from India and importing them in. When you have people who are just as qualified in the United States, let's say they're a full stack engineer, they're just as qualified in the United States, and they're not being hired. I don't think this whole H-1B visa is because they care so much about, oh yes, the people in America are not here, because they are here. I think it's also another ploy to get cheaper labor in. And I also want to say another caveat: these people that they're importing, they also, I would say, they also lie about their qualifications, because here, you know, you have checks and balances. You can tell if someone has actually done a degree. If you're overseas, you can pay people to falsify information. And sometimes when you're meeting with someone overseas, they might be doing an interview with you, and you find out that the person who's doing the interview is not the person who comes, and they don't know anything about the role. So I guess my question is, how do you feel about the H-1B visa? And do you feel like it's an actual genuine thing to bring skilled workers, or do you think that it's something to bring cheaper workers to come and live in America?
All right, good question. Yeah, that's very, very good question. I mean, I'm just going to tell you my personal opinion, then I'm going to tell you how the law relates to it. I had said it before. Last 4 year of Trump rule. I mean, I was driving. I think I went to court. I was driving back to the office, and I had the jingle on the radio, you know, people trying to say Microsoft and I think it was Google advertising on radio. I mean, I've been in the United States for over 14 years. I've never heard anything like that before. And you remember that was the first thing he did. He stopped the companies bringing H-1B.
Yes.
Because he actually turned into fraud. You know, you see those big companies, as a matter of fact, it got to a point that I said to myself, no, I'm not going to do H-1B again, because it's a lottery, and you'd be surprised you put in one person in because you want to bring someone here to help you with whatever business you're doing, right? You'd be surprised Amazon has like maybe 50, 100, and they can play it multiple times. So they're always going to get their people in. So like you said, it's really to get cheaper labor. It's not for us. But this time around, if you've noticed, right?
Yep.
Trump is actually working in cahoots with Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Yeah.
Exactly. I remember Elon Musk is an entrepreneur. He has a lot of businesses that he needs people from wherever. I don't want to mention name now. Okay, you know the countries we're referring to, from outside the United States of America, to come in and work cheaper, right? So what do you think he's going to do? And Trump had already said it before, because American job for American people. That's the way it should be. But now you have Musk putting pressure on you. What do you think is going to happen? So at the end of the day, it's going to be more of politics. But I completely agree with you. Like, if they should do it right, Americans should actually be training their own people and giving them jobs to be able to, you know, make a better living. But because of the influence, the outside influence, I think on that one, like I said before, based on the training and job advertisements I was hearing on radio, I think Trump has a very good intention, but people surrounding him at this point in time, that's the real trouble we're going to be having.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
I think that's a deep conversation, because I have. Does anyone in the IT space want to respond to that real quick? I have my thoughts. I've spoken about it so many times. But is there someone who wants to jump in and say something about what they've seen so far? Sylvester, you and I have talked about this. You know what's going on. Any idea on how we should tackle this matter?
I was just gonna say something quickly, Emeka.
Yes, please go ahead.
So I do a lot of work in H-1Bs as well, just by nature of my parents. My mom is a insanely amazing immigration attorney. I'm
Yeah.
employment immigration attorney. So we talk about this kind of stuff all the time. I don't think the problem is actually from the top of the executive branch. I think the problem is that once people like Indians are just like Nigerians. Once people find something that works, they're gonna put their people on. That's just what's going on. Nigerians need to do the same thing. Like everybody needs to do the same thing. If a tool is there, and that's what this goes to my answer for the last question. If a tool is there, you need to utilize it. You cannot just sit here and say, woe is me, woe is me. Like if Trump is attacking rich people and poor people are going to suffer, there are already tools in the country that are going to benefit the poor people. You need to find a CPA and plug into social welfare benefits. You need to find a CPA and look at, okay, well, this is what my family makes. How can we navigate this financial ecosystem in a way that is going to benefit me and my family? So that's like my little 2 cents for your last question. But for this question specifically, the H-1B system is not broken. The H-1B system is actually going to see it's going to be a really large it's going to open up, right? Because Trump is cutting off people. Like Trump's whole problem is, I don't want people immigrating to America that don't enhance America or that aren't productive towards Americans' economy. The
Yeah.
whole problem is Americans aren't making enough money and we're cranky. So how do we make Americans be more comfortable? The H-1B system allows for Americans to hire foreign nationals for cheaper, and that is not a bad thing. What we need to be doing as Nigerians is we need to be using the H-1B systems in all of our little small business to hire our own people. Let's leave the Indians and their nonsense and like small companies can use H-1B to hire foreign workers. That's what we need to be doing. We need to be bringing our own cheap labor and enhancing our own economies with cheap labor and with money that works. Like I
Yeah.
don't think the answer is knocking those other people.
Right, right. Quick question for you on that. Is there another field where you see, and I'm just asking broadly, right? Is there another field where you see the H-1B visa being approved that is not IT? Because a lot of Africans here
Yeah,
probably love to have that brother, sister, cousin, loved one, friend
yeah,
come in, but maybe because it quote unquote the Indians have been taken
yeah. The spaces.
as the majority
Yeah.
profession because they're very well organized.
Yes.
Yeah, another section that could give us a
Yeah.
good H-1B presence.
Emeka, that's an excellent question. And the
Yeah.
answer is yes. What I've been seeing be so successful for Nigerians is we are brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
We are very smart. We're well read. And
Mm-hmm.
um, we have the educational qualifications that a lot of people globally don't have. I'm sure you know that we were one of the top immigrants in the country. We were like number one or two in terms of
Mm-hmm.
highest achieving immigrants. And so because of that, the NIW and EB1 path has been amazing for Nigerians. It's national interest waiver. And what that does, right? H-1B ties you to your employer and they shackle them to their employer. Because what happens is, number one, you have to get with H-1B pass, right? You have to get an employer that's going to be willing to petition the government and pay the government on your behalf. And then when you come here, you have to be an indentured servant. You have to be basically working for that employer and being friendly towards that employer, so that employer will then file for your green card automatically. Now, where Nigerians would benefit from that, and where Niger, yeah, sorry, where Africans would benefit from that, or where Africans would be able to excel, is that with the national interest waiver says you don't need to have an employer tie you down. You're telling the American government, hey, it's in the national interest, because of my qualifications, because of my exemplary behavior, because of the fact that I'm above standard. It's in the national interest to waive the requirement that I'm attached to a business. and just let me in, and I will do America. I will produce for America. I will create jobs for America. Now that is where I've been seeing Africans and just really people generally run and do very well. H1Bs
Can
is
you
old.
give can you sorry to interrupt you. Can you give a specific example, maybe two, because I know you're saying it and those are like maybe higher terms who may not catch it like that. Is there
Okay.
something
Yes.
that you've seen and
Yeah.
people relate to it just like that in plain English?
Plain English.
Yeah.
Okay. Plain English. Here are the rules. The rules are if you have a bachelor's degree, if you have a bachelor's degree or you have a master's degree, they won't make you have a company petition for you. You can say I have a bachelor's degree plus 5 years of you have a bachelor's degree plus 10 years of experience, a master's degree plus 5 years of experience in your field, and you have a plan. Come to us and we'll get you on the path for green card.
Okay, so is that for people who live in Africa or people who live here?
Both.
Both. So what you're saying is someone who has 5 years of experience with a bachelor, 10 years of experience with a bachelor's degree, right?
Or
And
5 with a master's.
with a master's degree, they could come to the immigration office in wherever country they're in and say, "Hey, I want to come to the United States." But wouldn't they ask them, which company are you coming from? What is the need for you to come to the country?
Yeah, so that's why it's so special. It's called national interest waiver. So it's in the national interest to waive the requirement of me being affiliated with a company. So no company. I'm a self-petitioner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me jump in and
Yeah,
make it a little more clear. Okay. So what she's trying to say, it's with the let's take off the NIW. Okay. The default is EB2. Okay. So EB2 is employment-based petition. Okay. You have to have an employer to come to the United States of America. So, to every rules, there are exceptions. And
loopholes.
one of the exception which Attorney Lola is saying is the NIW, National Interest Waiver. Okay, so that's the exception to the EB. They told you because what EB is saying, you need to go to DOL, Department of Labor, to go get certification. Like, okay, you qualify, you met all the requirements to work in the United States. Okay, but because people know the getting all that, getting PAM, they call it PAM, or you get to get that, it's very, very tedious. Okay, so the government is now saying, okay, for those that are exceptional, and that's what the NIW is. Like, say you're an astronaut, okay,
Yeah.
or I have a client who had actually shook the hand of the Queen before she passed. Okay, we were able to get her in. Okay, because I mean, you must have reached a certain pedestal for you to be able, for the Queen to actually give you that kind of recognition. You know what I'm saying? So usually it's going to be based on your work. And if I say your work, it means what kind of publication do you have? Have you been recognized both domestically and nationally? How long have you been doing this? And because they know some people are not just educationally inclined. You just finish your baccalaureate degree or a 4 or 5 years degree, and that's it, right? So they saying you have to have 10 years for that. But say you go a little further, you have the master degree, then it becomes 5. Okay, that's what that is. For that, you don't need any employer. But if you do now have an employer, it's just had it. It's just a plus. You get it.
Right. Okay.
And then, Emeka, just to fully expand, because I got a question privately. You mentioned, okay, outside of tech, what other companies are allowed to bring in outside of what other companies are allowed to bring in people to work, right?
Yes.
What other services? We did one for a restaurant the other day. The restaurant wanted to bring their chef, so we brought the chef from Nigeria. It just happened to be Nigeria, but it could have been any African country.
Yeah.
Like any American company can bring foreign workers, there's generally a way in immigration law for you to be able to do it. It's just about speaking to the immigration lawyer to figure out, okay, this is my company. What kind of people should I bring? What do I need in order to bring the person I want to bring?
Right. Okay, cool. All right. This makes a lot of sense because trust me, it felt like that was the only avenue to come into this country quick enough because I think H-1B is like the fastest visa to
It's
get.
actually not even fast. Because of that quota system. It's kind of
Yeah,
stressful. Yeah,
it is
Kareem, maybe you could
stressful.
expand.
Yeah. It's really stressful. As a matter of fact, because it's lottery, right? You can actually go in and not get picked, And you see, have the what's it called, the LCA, labor condition certification to deal with. It's a pain in the rear.
So
Right.
Kareem,
So,
can I ask you a question? Can I ask you, Kareem,
oh, sure.
for our Africans in the, because I want to give my people tools. So people are like, let's say there we have business owners here, or we have people in, or we have professionals, right? A business owner may know other business owners, professionals may know other professionals.
Mm-hmm.
In the immigration landscape, what have you seen be successful in the recent months and in the coming months? What do you think will be a successful avenue for people wanting to bring their people in? Wanting to bring in workers or wanting to bring in similarly situated, like similarly education, people with similar educational
Okay,
backgrounds.
yeah, I got what you're saying. Okay, a quick one, right? I work with there's one of my other colleague. He's what's it called? Yeah, he's Jewish lawyer, right? Jewish attorney,
Mm-hmm.
and like I told you, I know the market of United Kingdom. So, but luckily for me, he got a gig in the UK that we help companies from, as a matter of fact, the entire Europe to come into the United States, right? So what I see that they use, okay, and that's what I've been telling my client lately, right? And I don't know if you ever averted your mind to this, because EB2 NIW is actually, everybody knows about it right now. So there's a lot of pressure. So the waiting
Yeah,
time after approval is actually getting longer.
yeah,
I'm
I
sure.
saw that. I saw that.
Exactly. So, like you said before, I give you kudos for that. Nigerians are very smart. We're very smart because I have a client who is actually doing EB, EB1,
Yeah,
EB1, and
I've seen
EB2
EB
together.
ones. Yeah.
And EB2. Then I'm wondering, like, I've never seen anything like this before. Then he said, well, that's what I want to do.
It's gonna
I said,
work.
okay. Yeah. And I said, okay, other than the other lady that I spoke earlier that actually shook the hand of the queen, I mean, she had a lot of going for her. She's a genius. Other than that, I've never seen any other person. But this person said he wanted to do EB1, and Emeka will explain that. Okay, EB1 is like the top. Okay, I mean, you
Oh,
don't really get many. Yeah, it's the top. You don't really get many people in that bracket. But guess what?
Extraordinary.
Exactly. But guess what, Lola? Right. What I now see, as a matter of fact, I have two ongoing right now.
Yeah.
It's EB1C.
Wow.
I'm telling you, yeah. Because some of the
Wow.
Nigerians have money. They have money and they already have existing companies where they're coming from. So
wow.
if you can get your books right,
Yeah.
okay, you can bring all your family in.
Yeah.
Exactly. So with the EB1C, you're not claiming you're a professor, which is the B, and you're not claiming you have a master's, which is
Extraordinary.
the A.
Yeah.
You come in under the C that you have a business and you've been doing well in your business and all that. Yeah, then
Yeah.
if you're ready to do all the
Yeah,
that's
but
all
that's
you all. Let me add this. All you just go under the L1 visa, because with the L1 visa, you can actually go through the
Yeah.
1B C, yeah, to get your green card and all that. Yeah, that's
There's
what
a
they
lot
use
of
now.
avenues. What we're just trying to say is there's
Yeah,
a lot of avenues to get
a
people
lot,
here.
right,
a
right.
lot. Yeah.
I think the one you're saying, Kareem, is probably for, I don't know, people who are looking really to start a good life here. I think the one you're talking about is for people who have made it and are just trying to just relax. Those people already have money. I mean,
Of course,
let's be
of course.
honest. When you are saying this, talk about the ones that is reachable for us, okay? Not just
No, no. If we're talking the one
months.
that is reachable for you guys, for the common man, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
she already said it all. We know how we get here, okay.
Yeah.
And usually, if you get here with visa, right? Guess what? You can always change your status, right? The only people
Yes.
that will have problem it's those if you've not been cleared in by the entry clearance officer, right, from the border, right? That's where the problem is, and then it's a lot of trouble. But once you get here, and to be frank with you, right, Emeka, to be frank with you, I mean, I've had a lot of Zoom call with clients all over the world, and some have never even been here before, and they ask you the same question we're talking about here, and say, "Hey, lawyer, how can I get here?" You ask them what's the education qualification they have. They tell you, I mean, just high school. Then you tell them, "So do you do business?" They say, "Yeah, I just work for someone." You ask them all the questions, it's no, 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 no. But because they've been here before and they're attracted to the trappings of America, right? They just
Yeah.
tell you they want to be here and they have the money to be here. Then you tell them, well, it's just give me the easy one. What can I do? Then you tell them, well, if you marry someone, then you get a green card. Then they tell you next time I'm coming, I'm actually coming to marry someone. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's
Wow.
not the right thing. I'm telling you. I mean, I've
That's
had clients, not
wow.
Nigerian clients. I'm telling you from Europe. They'll just tell you. You know, they just say, okay, maybe that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm just telling you, it's an avenue, and it hasn't been closed yet. And if you can actually do it, I mean, it's left for
Wow.
you. But I'm not going to encourage that. I'm
Yeah,
just going to go
please,
tell you to
please.
go the
Yeah.
right way. But I'm
Yeah.
just telling you,
Do it the right way.
yeah, it's even the right, because if you actually fall in love genuinely, is there anything wrong with that?
Well,
And
okay.
if you don't, let me tell you one thing. I go with you. I go with them to the immigration interviews. ICE
Yeah.
has a list of people of countries that are fraudulent, and Nigeria has been on that list top 10 for number one
So,
on the list of 10 countries that are fraudulent. Nigeria's been on that number one for 10 years. They hate Nigerians at
Oh,
the
but
immigration
but
office.
but you know the
that
funny
section.
thing, but sorry guys, you know the funny thing, Canadian have the most overstayers in the United States of America.
Yeah, yeah,
Do
Wow.
you know that?
yeah, yeah.
Quick question. So we have some questions for you. Lola, do you want to take them?
Yeah, you see the questions for me? It's like I got like four questions in my
Yeah, go
in my
ahead.
Can I
chat.
ask a question first?
Okay, what's up?
This
Yeah.
is a question for Karim. Karim, the EB1C visa that you mentioned, does that have the qualification, the education qualification for bachelor's or master's?
No.
Yeah, she just told you, no, that's for, if you have business or businesses that have been thriving wherever you're coming from, right? You just want to say, okay, I'm bringing the same. It's more like your business actually bringing you into the country.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Lola, go ahead.
Okay, guys, I'm just gonna fire answer all of these questions quickly. If you want to talk more, my last name is the name of the company. Google that, and then say you want to talk to me. We'll talk in depth.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not gonna say anybody's name that asked me a question. I love confidentiality.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna ask a question and then answer it. It says, what does it mean? Does it mean we have to walk around with documents in case we are approached by ICE, or they have a database for citizens slash green card? Okay, so they do have a database, but I always recommend walk around with your green card, walk around with your visa, walk around with your whatever. Just walk around with it. And if you're not going to walk around with your passport, go ahead and take a picture of your passport and a piece of your visa, picture of your visa page, or a picture of your I-9, your ability to be validly in the country, and just be able to show somebody. But like I said at the beginning, the most important thing is calm confidence and having your people on speed dial. Go ahead and share your location with the people that care about you. Have your attorney. My people always have my number on speed dial. I'll answer my phone call in the middle of the night. If you get arrested by ICE, don't say anything. Smile, be kind, be polite, and call me. Call your attorney ASAP. You have rights. Know them. Okay, next question. Hey Lola, been here for 10 years without any documentation. What would you advise I do? Number one, how did you get here? Did you get here with a visa and you overstayed, or did you come here by walking in through or driving through a border? Both ways. If no matter how you got here and no matter what your story is, we can help you depending on how things are going with you and what your community looks like. So go to, if you've been here for 10 years without any documentation and you're living in fear and like Trump is scaring you every day, call us, come to an immigration attorney, tell them your story, And don't just go to anyone, and always get a second opinion. It's time to use all the money you've been saving for the last 10 years and give it to an attorney and let them give you your options. There's nothing more valuable than knowledge. If you think, my dad always says, if you think knowledge is expensive, try ignorance. It is much more expensive. Okay, now, next question. If you came, Kareem, you want to say something?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll go after you. That's fine.
If you came in with bisexual asylum as a lesbian and fell in love with a guy and want to get married, will the marriage status be accepted? I am in this case right now. I just fought this case a couple of weeks ago, and ultimately yes, but you need to be working with an attorney. So if you came with a bisexual asylum, there's a lot of loopholes on the question on the forms, right? That you won't know. You'll be thinking, let me just answer the questions softly, but they have some very disgusting curveball questions that they're going to ask you, and that if you answer it wrongly, it raises a red flag at every stage of the immigration process, and it could really mess you up. Like, you could be facing deportation, or you could be believed, and then you can go on into marital bliss. The difference between those two outcomes is absolutely the strength of your immigration attorney. And you guys are okay. Y'all might want to stop because I have more questions. Okay. I am currently a master's student to graduate in spring 2025, but I have over 5 years of experience in banking. Hello, that's what I'm talking about. Please, what is the best route for me, and which one do I qualify to apply for? Only Emeka can be having me in this position, but your best route is to come to my law firm and let me talk to you.
Yes,
But
put it that way.
Okay.
Yes, yeah,
yeah,
Okay.
that is your real.
yeah,
That's the truth of your situation. Like, but
yeah.
as a master's student, that means you're in status. You're F1. You have, maybe you're playing with OPT, maybe not. Spring 2025 is this spring. Come to me ASAP because we need to schedule a plan for you. Um, and yeah, but you do have a lot of, there are routes for you. You do qualify for things. You could go to Kareem too. Kareem is a good lawyer from everything I've heard. And no hard feelings. If you want both of us to work with it, I'm willing to work together. Is it legal for a U.S. citizen to ask a U.S. citizen for proof of citizenship? Hey, it's not illegal. Number one, if somebody walks up to me and they're a police officer, I'm going to say, hey, officer, thanks for your service. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to say, I just want to ask, am I detained? If I am not legally detained, no offense, I'm not going to continue this conversation. I hope you're well, and I thank you for patrolling the streets. But if I am not detained at this stage, I'm going to exercise my right to silence, and I'm going to walk away. But if the police officer does say, yes, Lola, you're detained, a couple of months ago, I got detained. It's not a big deal. Detained just means stopped, and I'm not free to leave. Okay, and then they ask me, do you have proof of citizenship? Um, I can just say I was born here, and I would be fine, right? I don't have to have a passport. A lot of Americans don't ever travel anywhere. So if I say I'm born here, and and he buys it, that's fine. But if I say if I say I'm born here, I better never ever 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 get caught writing that down. If I write down that I'm an American citizen and I'm not, it's an illegal bar to any immigration benefits forever. You are not
Wow.
allowed to pretend to be American. Okay,
That's
moving on. Or yeah,
yeah.
Emeka can stop me because I'm even getting more. I don't know what's
Yeah,
going on.
Karen, go ahead.
Okay. You still want to go ahead, or you want me to jump
Yeah,
in?
Okay, go
yeah.
ahead.
Okay, for someone who has been lecturing in higher institutions for about 25 years, science education with so many journals, hey, thank you for your service. Paper presentations, books to his credit, that's what I'm talking about. How can such person get here with a working visa? So yeah, I would come to me or Kareem, but basically that person just needs to submit their CV and let us see which employment immigration path works best for them. And then we would just say, hey, do this, do this, do this. The first conversation is you're gonna have to give us money. Be ready. Understand that immigration law is money. So you need to have your bag of money ready.
Yeah.
Okay, what is your contact, please? We'll give our contact information at the end. A question for Kareem. Okay, great. Is it easier to put in new immigration applications, beneficial slash VAWA in sanctuary states at this time? Kareem, you can take that. I'll just lightly say immigration is practiced nationally, so it's easy to put in the application at any place all the time. It's not that you're applying in one
I'm
place
sorry.
makes it
Yeah.
easier in
Mhm.
any other place. But
Yeah,
Kareem, you
and
can take that.
yeah, I mean, you already said it. And the thing, people need to know it's every application is different, okay? They're all going to be treated differently. So if you put in one and you think, oh, I don't want that anymore, I want something else. I mean, it's just gonna,
That's it.
okay, it should treat application on its merits, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'd say yeah, that's EB1C say, but isn't that okay, I don't understand this question. But isn't that ED1C, the business one that says 800,000? Okay, probably I think you just combined my understanding, wherever has this question, it says but isn't that ED1C, the business one that says $800,000?
Yeah,
All right.
let's have them rephrase that again. Let's jump into the
Exactly.
next one, you know?
Okay, so I'll jump to the other one. See, I'm currently a master student to graduate spring. I thought you already answered that,
I,
right?
I,
No,
I
no,
think
no.
I did that one.
Go
The
to
next
You
the
did
one
that.
says the next one says I have been scheduled for biometrics in a few days. If I come across ICE,
Okay.
what do I need to do? Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, I think I saw that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been scheduled for biometrics in a few days. So I mean, just fingers crossed. Hope you don't come across ICE.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, hope you don't come across them. And if you do come across them, well, I'm just gonna say you're already being scheduled, and you should be in status. That's my assumption, because if you're going for biometrics, I will assume you're in status, so you should be good. You shouldn't have anything to fear. So that's how.
But what you do need to do is remain calm, have an air of calm confidence, be quiet,
Exactly.
only answer the questions that are asked.
Speed dial your
Speed dial your attorney.
Yeah,
Definitely do
exactly.
that, and then and just be calm. What are you here for? Answer the question. Don't speak too much. Only answer what you've been asked,
Ah,
and be quiet. Be
that's true.
comfortable with silence.
That's
Um,
true. That's
with
true.
this immigrant phobia, do we need to be careful where we invest? No, invest wherever you want. God says
Yeah,
invest
we
everywhere.
will have a let me jump on that. We will have a topic on that where we have our stock and
Yeah,
crypto meeting. We will
yeah,
talk about that because this phobia is real.
yeah.
It is real. It is
Quick
real.
question. Someone is asking on YouTube Live, if you have a pending asylum case for the last 7 years, what should one do?
Keep just stay right there. Don't go to the left. Don't go to the right. Just keep doing exactly what you're doing. A pending asylum case for 7 years allows you to work while it's pending. It allows you to do all your things. Now, this is a good time for us to speak, guys. Okay, as Africans, we get here, we should know better. People come in and they say, I'm so scared back in my home country. They have dogs roaming around. I've always been scared of dogs. I can't go back. That is not enough of a valid reason to keep you here on asylum applications. They are weak asylum applications. And if you have a weak asylum application, you need to know that, because what it means is asylum is buying you time to be able to do something else. Now, at all our firm, we always let people know, hey, if your asylum application is dead on arrival, as soon as the judge sees that they're going to say no, the day after they say no, they pull your work authorization, and then they give you 30 days to leave the country. So if you know that your asylum application is shaky during your time where your application is pending, that is the time where you need to be considering alternative options. I will never advocate for what Kareem said that people do, but that is something that you need to be considering strongly,
Right.
because
Don't quote me. I never say go do it, but if it's something you got to do, you just got to do what you got to do.
As a Nigerian concern.
so you know what I'm
Anyway.
saying? Like, it's buying time, but it's not a foul proof. Asylum will get you where you need to go. So because of that, you need to be very realistic with your prospects and make sure. And even if you're in status, you can consider employment routes as well. But absolutely be active.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. On a serious note, okay,
Yeah.
there are different classification of visas that people can get here, and I think that's the problem we having right here, because people
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, if you consult, like Attorney Lola keeps saying, if you consult with attorneys, we can actually guide you. And in my firm, we actually give we give advice letter once we get consulted, like because people just want to know, okay, what are my options? Then we'll give you options based on, usually we ask for your resume. Once we see your resume, we can tell, okay, and we hear your story as well. Then we give you, okay, consider this option, because we're not going to make that decision for you. You have a clear vision of what we have for you to actually work with. Okay, and I think don't be on asylum for too long, because like she's dumped, and because people get comfortable. You can be on asylum. I mean, I've been having clients calling me for that. They've been asylum for like 10 years. And I'm thinking in my head, 10 years? You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to get on asylum and, I mean, use it to accomplish some of the goals you want to accomplish and move on from there. Because it's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, 1,000%. The next question is, as an asylum seeker, is there a way forward to get permanent residence, even if this case is still pending? No. If the case is still pending, the way forward is to look in other paths, like Kareem you're not going to get a green card through a pending asylum application. The asylum application has to be adjudicated, either granted or rejected or denied. And then if it's granted, then okay, yeah, you're on the path for a green card. But it's 50-50, granted or denied. So do other things while you're waiting on that asylum application to be adjudicated. Yeah, Izu Emeka, that's my baby. I love him so much. I'm glad that his cousin is in here. Tell him I did a good job.
Wait, how do
And
you
then
know him?
how
He's
do I
our
know him?
cousin. Yeah, because Emeka's my brother. And so,
Oh, wow. Oh, you're his sister that he always comes to visit in California?
no. I'm from North Carolina, but I live here in Dallas now. But
Oh,
yeah,
welcome.
I was wondering how you knew Izu because I saw that you're connected with him on LinkedIn.
Yes, we're like really good friends. I was just seeing him in Lagos a little while ago. We've just been friends for years and years and years. He calls me baby lawyer, but I think I graduated now. So,
Oh,
yeah.
did you go to Alashere?
Sorry?
Did you go to Alashere?
No, I grew up here. We just made friends probably 15 years ago, I think now. So we just always just been really good friends. Yeah, I don't know. But he's a sweetheart. I'm so happy to meet you. Let's connect. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Let's
Yeah.
have coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
And and then how do I feel about companies ending DEI, sis?
Yes.
Why would you ask me? Maybe somebody else should answer this one. Me, I have no problem with it. Um, I I
Okay, no, okay. Let's get somebody else to answer that. You're right.
yeah.
You know what? We can always jump into with Sylvester. He's our neutral
hmm
guy here. DEI,
Okay.
Oga Sylvester, again, you and I could talk about it here so people could get a little bit informed. The cause of having DEI is to be able to have other people considered for positions. And, when they say, oh, we want to do it based on merit, if you do it based on merit, we could say, oh, only white people are good for it, or only Indians. So there wouldn't be an accommodation to say, okay, even though you have all these people qualified for it, let's have at least 5% for Black people, because there's a feel that they never get looked onto. Let's make a section for them so that no matter how much we do, 95% all white, let's just have at least 5% dedicated to us, right? So if you want to jump into the death of, well, I don't know if it's the death yet, but DEI is about to die because Trump came in. By the way, again, I've said this very clearly. He campaigned on that, so everybody should not be surprised
Yeah.
about DEI. So this is nothing new.
And
You
make
guys give him the power, and he's using it.
Don't you
Go
feel
ahead.
like, so as somebody who's a benefit of DEI inclusions, right? Who may have, right? Don't you feel that it unfairly stigmatizes the Black people? It's like, or whoever the minority is, it's like, because you're in this space and because DEI exists, now whenever you get into these spaces, they assume that you're necessarily underqualified, and the only reason why they accepted you was because of that quota.
Right.
And
Right.
it unfairly prejudices
Yes
you.
and no, right? There are two parts of this. So let me give you an example. People like, who else? Someone who's rich, let's say Michael Jordan. Do you ever hear racism jokes or DEI or stuff like that? You don't, because money doesn't know any color. If you
Yeah.
have money, trust me, you won't even be bothered with all these things. It doesn't matter because you have a service to provide, they need you. That's
Yeah.
it. Um, so the average person who is trying to jump into a career where they feel, if you look at it historically, it's been given to certain people. Those ones will be it relates to them more because they feel like they. So give you another example now, right? There are a lot of people here who are in the IT field, like Chimbosoma was saying, right? Or in different jobs, they've been applying for a job, and up till now they haven't received anything. Not because the job was destroyed or anything, but somebody else took it. They took it because you and I know common nature will tell you I am more likely to favor somebody who looks like me than somebody who doesn't, because I really don't understand those people like that. I didn't grow up with them where they were, where I could talk comfortably with them. Why do I have
Jamaica, I will say though, especially with that job situation, right? And I see this a lot with immigrants and in our community specifically.
Mhm.
It's never ever enough to just apply. You have to do the due diligence of knowing somebody in that company and letting them advocate for you. You
True,
have to.
but you're forgetting something, and I deal with this all the time, right? There are some people who don't know that. Some people who don't know how to do that.
You
Some
have to
people
cold
who
call.
don't
I
have.
have I have an opinion.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
These are, and this is very close to me. I have many years in corporate America, and I think NNDEI is a negative thing.
Okay.
Reason being, if someone is a business owner, they don't need DEI. If
Yeah.
someone is a professional, maybe basketball player, like Mecca give an example, or if someone has some kind of talent that places them somewhere by default, they don't need DEI. But then there are majority of us that are actually employed, where we actually, because of this program, maybe we had an opportunity or an opportunity to be addressed differently. And it's not always with Black and brown people. You'll be surprised, in some cases this has actually worked in the favor of white people as well,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I'm in the technology field, and if this goes out and where they don't require people to have, emphasis on diversity, then not just, it's not a lot of people will suffer, including sometimes the white people, because there are companies that are actually being headed by brown people.
You
So
know, white
I
women are
feel
the
like,
largest. Did you know white women are the largest recipients of minority aid?
yeah. So DEI, I feel like it was a necessary evil, maybe because a lot of people don't believe that it needed to be there. But in a country like America, it was necessary. We don't need it in Africa, right? But in a country like America, we definitely needed it. And a lot of companies are gonna maybe sort of try to disassociate themselves with companies that are gonna exclude it, which also is a risk for them. That's a reputational risk, which could lead to financial loss. So personally, I would, and as a person who is in corporate America, I feel like this is something that never should have been taken out.
Right.
As a Black
Let me
woman.
jump in on that, Miss Rhoda. I think I completely agree with you on that because I remember before getting my license, right, and Attorney Lola will understand this. I was working with a group of attorneys, right, and we were doing review. You know the review work that attorneys do, right, and and it was core somewhere in the middle of Austin, and there was this lawyer, this dude, he came up to me and because I mean I just got there like probably a couple of days. Then after maybe 3-4 days, they all coming to me to ask for explanations. You know what I'm saying? Even from other offices, they would come, hey, Kareem, they would ask me one question or the other. And I didn't even know, I didn't even notice this. And this guy walked up to me one time and he asked me, like, hey, which school did you go? Where did you graduate from? Then I told him my background. Then he said, oh, they teach people like this in Africa? Then I'm looking at him like, like, you guys are this well thought. You see what I'm saying? So you could imagine, because yeah, and it still plays in my mind till this date. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, he's from Beaumont, somewhere in Texas, where they don't see black. I mean, or they see black, but they don't come in contact with them. And even when they come in contact with them, they always think they kind of subpar. He asked
Yeah.
me that question, and he's my very good friend. I mean, I'll give that to him, but
A lot of people
because
have
we're
really
that
joined.
close, Huh?
Yeah, the only one looking.
And if we're not that close, you won't be able to ask me that. But you could imagine what was playing out in his head. And you can just say that to, maybe probably to most other, non-colored people, So I agree with Ms. Rhoda. We need DEI because if not, we're minority in the first place, and if you don't give someone like us the chance to actually come in, then we're just going to be chucked out. That's what I think.
Guys,
Yes, exactly. And a lot of the times, and this is something that I've come to experience. A lot of the times when you get into a room, they see you as a Black person, right? They automatically have an idea of you until you speak your mind and go, "Oh, you're smart,"
Exactly.
So we need that chance for us to prove ourselves that we're smart.
So a lot of these things are offensive, but we have to. That's why we're here together, right? Everyone is trying to get a better understanding on what should remain and what shouldn't be here. Like DEI, we say it should remain. I understand why it should remain. Now I understand the other side. They campaigned on letting that die off. Please, if you have questions, raise your hands up.
I think Kenneth has a question.
Kenneth, yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's more of a comment, basically.
Yeah.
I guess more on the DEI aspect. There are too many sides to it, and I just think it's a matter of time that a lot of companies will be given the freedom to actually either pick or pick and choose in whether to go about it. I use the MAVNI program as an example in the military, where that the diversity aspect of people could bring in the understanding of languages and all that and volunteer in the military. They killed that program some years ago, and now what has happened is that they're not seeing people actually volunteer to get into the military. Now they've increased the age requirements. At some point they will be begging, so it's now going back to that diversity aspect, because on the IT side and threat management, when you talk about what you know and what you don't know, so someone that's young can be aware of the things that is happening, as opposed to the older people that are about to retire with old knowledge. Someone from a different ethnicity can bring an aspect to what the threat landscape is from what the other people might not even know. And that was the advantage they had in the military when they had that program. So it's only a matter of time that we'll look at the schools, for instance. Now not too many Americans are going for the STEM programs, and it has actually cut into business programs. You don't even see core citizens coming into accounting and finance programs. So it's just a matter of time that it's going to take for them to include it, because at some point some people are going to retire. At some point, some jobs are going to be out there for months, if not years, not being filled, and they'll be losing money.
It's really unfortunate that this is happening. I don't think that, honestly speaking, I think we're talking about DEI in terms of who does it benefit. I don't think that it will benefit, like Kenneth said, I don't think it will benefit the younger generation that still has to get that experience where they have to, like Lola, you were saying, do more than just apply for a job. You have to reach a certain level of thinking for you to comprehend that that is part of making sure you land that job, right?
Oh, I see.
You understand?
It requires, it's like you're saying, like there's a glass ceiling of knowledge.
10 years ago, the way you are thinking is not the way you are thinking then.
It's true.
You probably would say, oh man, I was so naive then. Can you believe I did it? Exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody has to get to that stage, then surpass it.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do, or what we are saying is, if we give you the tools ahead of time, then it may spark something in your head to say, okay, I haven't had the experience enough, but I see what these guys are saying. So why don't I put this as I go to make my life better, quicker? Because if not, I'm telling you, just like most of you know, Sylvester, are you there? Elon Musk is probably going to be the first trillionaire. I don't know why one person should have that kind of money, but what does that mean? when he's being a trillionaire, he's making other people billionaires, right?
Yeah.
That means the rich are going to keep getting richer. It's not, there's no sugarcoating. It is going to happen. What does that also mean? The poor people are going to keep getting poorer. Getting poor doesn't mean that you're not making any money. You are making money, but it's not enough, because if you only had $5 in your pocket and buying water is $5, you're poor because you barely could afford water.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's happening, and we were talking about DEI, and people are not given that opportunity, and they're just bypassed because other people are taking advantage. Like, for example, Indians do such a great job in collaborating together to make sure that any loophole they could take advantage of, they do that immediately.
Yeah.
Our people, unfortunately, I have to say this, have a series of jealousy instead of trying to get progress. Someone's going to be jealous about somebody and what they're trying to do, and you see them trying to make some kind of progress. You don't like that. You become uncomfortable. You become you feel like there was something you did in your life you were supposed to fix, and now you feel like you've been left. That's not how it works. If you're going to progress, you want to be in the midst of smart people. You want to be in the midst of people who will help you, so that you start only thinking smart. If you're sitting in the bar, when you get off work and you just want to have a drink, you haven't accomplished anything but maybe kill your lungs or kill your insides. There's nothing else you achieved. What is the celebration for, right? So we have to really continuously keep on studying ourselves, growing mentally, just like what we're doing right now. That's the only way we'll be able to be
transition ourselves into being elevated.
Yeah, but also being valuable. If not, nobody's begging to value. Look, like I keep saying, other races won't come to bail you out. It's not that problem. You have to bail yourself out. How do you do it? Like you were saying, Lola, education, understanding, getting the knowledge, getting information, right? Well, we'll jump into questions.
And Emeka, I was gonna let you know, and just to like end this DEI conversation with some tangible tools that people can use. Okay, when I was in school, I went to like a top 10 law school in the U.S. and Trump's kid was interviewing at our school. He wanted to go there when I was in school. The Charlottesville riots happened when I was in law school, and I was in Charlottesville at University of Virginia when it was happening. We had a lot of conversations about race, DEI. And I was in the room with, I was the only African in my class. So like African. So what that means is that they were having conversations as if I was not in the room. And that's what made me really cement my understanding of the situation. Like you said, I traveled 10 years into the future because of what I saw. And what I will say, what I can come back and tell my people and give my people is the following. Number one, pretend you're white. Just pretend like, okay, there's no adversity experience. I'm not experiencing adversity. I'm not, because it's a shock. It's a traumatic shock that almost freezes you in your track whenever you realize, actually, I'm being discriminated against and I'm not getting all the valuable resources that everybody else is getting just because of my color. That stuff shocks you. But once you get over that shock, step on it and use it to elevate you to connecting with the people. If there's a very powerful person in your group, or there's somebody that looks like they're getting something that you're not getting, guess what? You need to be friends with that person. You need to talk to that person. You need to get the resources out of it. Bridge that gap. Right. That's number one. And number two, yes, DEI would have been extremely beneficial. However, the way it was getting implemented was putting a stigma on those people that were making it. They were making it through the cracks, and then they were getting stigmatized. So then they were unhappy. And then also the white people that were forced to bring them into the spaces, they were unhappy. The reason why they're throwing away DEI is because they feel like in the end, everybody ends unhappy. If a Black person enters a space, everybody wants to be able to think like, okay, I'm here, you're here, everybody, we're all on the same level. That's what they want to be able to think like. So we know that that's not the case. We know that the opportunities weren't equal. We know we had to do 3 times as hard, as be better than them by 3 times for us to even get to this level. But don't lead with that. Just go in there and take everything you can And don't be scared to ask questions. Don't be scared to cold call. Don't be scared to get on LinkedIn and look at, how do I know this person? What connections do I have? Even if it's a second, third, fifth connection, you call them and you say, just like she did, how do you know Izu? How do you know this person? Hey, I met you. It's about networking. It's about connections. And we need to be not scared of asking questions and looking stupid. The shame doesn't exist for white people. So you need to not let shame exist for you too.
Very good. Very good. Very
Lola,
good.
before you go, I do have a question. So my question is a very practical question.
Yeah.
Some of the people here, they have attended Afrotech. And so Afrotech is a big conference. And so it's great. But another one is like Grace Hopper, lots of women come to. And then NESB is also another one that is that it really benefits from these DEI programs, because when you're there, the recruiters are Black, the people higher up, the SVPs, the EVPs, they're all Black, right? I just think that with this DEI ending, there'll be less opportunities at these conferences, and they'll hire less.
I know it's a concern. I know that seems like it's a concern, but one thing I would urge you to do is consider how this country, how Black people specifically have responded in this country historically whenever they pull resources from us. This is not the first time they're saying we don't actually like Black people, never mind. Like, they've done it every step of the way. If it wasn't from the when they were doing the laws, the Black codes, the Black laws after slavery, if it was civil rights era in the 1960s, if it was DEI, even when DEI was first included, right before that, it wasn't.
Jim Crow
Era. So Black people always hit back harder. DEI came because Black people pushed it there. So Black people are just going to push a different. I would not be shocked if this year NESB, Afrotech, all these things are going to explode, because guess what? When white people limit resources, Black people get stronger and pass them around to ourselves even more. Like, we're a very resilient group. I think it's actually going to benefit our communities. The separation and the lack of needing to be accepted by all these white spaces and all these white powerhouses, I really believe that it will, in the long term, have really beneficial effect in the Black communities, because it will make us have to invest in ourselves. They're not going to give it to us, so we're going to have to take it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how I see it going.
Yeah. Thank you for that. So I think
there's more questions, Emeka.
There are more questions?
Yes.
Sorry.
So the next question is the one I don't want it to skip, because I know is a sensitive immigration one. It was like, I'm out of status. I think it was a private question. It says, I am out of status and married to a green card holder of 10 years, not yet qualified for citizenship. What can she file for me now to be safe? So if you're out of status and you're married to a green card holder and of 10 years, hold on to your green card holder really hard. Let that green card holder go ahead and file for naturalization. If they can't file for naturalization, then come see me and let's figure out what the assembling blocks are. Figure out what the assembling blocks are so we can get you sorted. Me or Kareem, either one. And then another one says, if you were out of status, what if you were out of status when you filed the asylum? What options do you have? This is a great question. If you were out of status when you filed the asylum, there's an exception. Number 4 in the asylum laws, there's an exception. You need to make sure that in your asylum application, you're citing the exception as the reason why you didn't apply. Again, consult an immigration attorney. They'll be able to help you update that application.
Yes. Leave it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I will. And then this one, how is an asylum granted? Does a work authorization be assumed as asylum is granted? Okay, this is a interesting question, but basically the answer to this question is, once you apply for asylum, they're going to be analyzing, it's going to be pending, they're going to be analyzing your application. During the time where they're analyzing your application, they're going to give you a work permit. They're going to let you work while they look at your application, because there's a long wait time, about 6 years in some cases. So they're going to let you be working while they're analyzing it. Once they finish making a decision, accepted or rejected, they're going to revoke that work permit if they reject it, or if they refer you to the courts and they say an immigration court should look at your asylum application. They'll let you still be working, but like I said, and Kareem said, asylum is a means to an end. Try to look at other options while you're on asylum. If you have other questions, talk to me or Kareem. Another question is, The absence. Okay, that's a comment. Afrotech, Grace Hopper. Yeah, we addressed that. And then everyone has an equal opportunity in this country to ask me. Many people. Yeah, that's a comment.
Guys,
and then a private question is. Oh, great. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
okay. Karim, do you want to say anything before we try to end this? Because this was specifically for immigration. I know we'll probably bring you guys back in because I know there are going to be more changes coming, and I don't know what's going to happen, but we pray that it will benefit us some way or the other. Karim, did you want to say anything before
I'm
we?
just gonna. I think we answered all the questions, and
Oh, how do we
I'm
get
just.
a hold of you? Can you put your information here because we have that of Lola.
Yeah, I already did. I already put my email on my website on there.
Please, one more time, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just gonna say don't fret and don't overthink it. So you know where to find resources, and you actually have our numbers now. So we are always open, very customer centric. So just get in touch if there's any other worries or needs that needs to be addressed. So that's what I would say. But don't fret, don't overthink it. I know I was actually meant to have a meeting today because of someone that was actually equally concerned about what is going on. But
Yeah.
guess what? He had to take the time off yesterday to come see me. So, and it's palpable. But what I'll say is, just don't fret and just consult your attorney. Don't do things because other people do it. Usually, I mean, I've seen a lot like going the other way. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So with that being said, I will take it to Mr. Sylvester.
Well,
Pretty much done here today, and we want to thank everyone for joining. If anyone has any questions, they could, talk to us on the African Expat WhatsApp group or any other group that they feel comfortable, the agriculture group, the land group, whichever one you feel comfortable at, and we could help you. Next week, I think we want to talk about jobs and how this new administration is prioritizing jobs. And we'll talk to one of our professionals. Her name is Agnes. She's on the call today, but today's not for her to do all the talking because you need enough time to understand and ask questions. So with that being said, Mr. Sylvester, do you want to take us out? Thank you. And if you are happy and understood and appreciate what Attorney Lola and Attorney Karim has said and done for you today, please show some kind of appreciation. Send a message here in the chat box or physical, or you could actually say something. Oh, sorry.
Thank you all. Thank you.
I think somebody had a quick question. I mean, this is really last minute. Femi, we'll talk later on that, or send me a personal message, okay? Sylvester, are you there? Okay, I think Sylvester's
Please
probably-
add the group chat. There's
Okay, Mecca.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm here. Great conversation. Attorneys Karim and Kere, please welcome back. We thank you for the work you have done.
Thank you so much. Somebody was asking, Busama, I think you were asking for the link for the group. It's the normal group. If anybody has any question, they can just send me a message and I'll add them to it. My phone number is here. I'm sending it now so that you could send me a text message. Oh, sorry, I put it in the wrong place. I'm sorry. Give me 1 minute, guys. If anybody has any question, just send me a text message. It's best to do it on WhatsApp. All right, everyone. I want to thank you for coming and spending almost 2 hours with us. I hope we answered your questions and this was your time. This was free. Anything else, these questions usually are not free, so we want to really thank our lawyers for helping us out here. And if you have any other questions, you can ping me, you can text them, you can call them directly, and we'll go from there. All right, everyone. Enjoy your Trump era. We voted him in, so bye, everyone. Take care.